Hi everyone, I'm April Davis with April Davis Creations. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up and I live in Spring Hill, Kansas. This is supposed to be my Thursday night live, but it's Wednesday afternoon. So today is Wednesday, September 18th. This will be uploaded for Thursday at 7 p.m. tomorrow for my Facebook Live. I'm just not able to be there live on Thursday. My husband and I and some friends are going to the Johnson County Arboretum where they are sponsoring an event called Terra Luna, which is a really fun event. We did it last year and tomorrow is the adult night for it, but basically you walk through the woods at the Arboretum and they have twinkle lights and the trees and there's little fairies and music and it's just charming. It's magical. It's just a fun, relaxing evening and the evenings have been beautiful lately. So we're really, really excited. That being said, because it's Thursday night and I typically do my Thursday night lives on Facebook, I'm recording it today. So let's get started. I have a lot to share with you. I think the first thing that I want to share is just to remind everybody that the Paper Pumpkin special is going on right now. You can get 40% off of your first month when you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. If you're not familiar with Paper Pumpkin, it is a subscription kit and every month you receive it. It's $25, but if you enroll before the 10th of October, you actually will get 40% off your first kit. You need to make sure that you go out to paperpumpkin.com and use holiday 40 and you'll get that special discount. And then the months following, it'll go back up to the $25. But you can go in at any given time, and if you decide that this month isn't the month that you want to receive it, you can always skip a month. So I don't want you to miss out on that. I've been doing Paper Pumpkin for probably 4 years now, and I've loved every one of them. There's a couple that maybe I wasn't quite as excited about, but then there's some that it's just like they blew me away. So I wanted to share that with you. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to bring up, let me see if I can do this, bring up my website, and a couple things that I want to share with you with respect to the website. First of all, tonight or today or when you see this on Facebook and on YouTube, this is a to-go class, and I'll show you the cards that we're going to be doing today. But to find that information, you go into classes, clubs, you can go down to go classes, and then all of the information with respect to the go class is here. You can receive a kit to make the cards that I'm making today for free when you place an order on my online store. And all of that information is listed here. You want to be sure to use the host code that I have here. I'll put it up on the screen for just a second, but you want to make sure to use the host code because then that's my sign that you are interested in this kit for free. Once you place your order, I get notification of your order, then I'll go ahead and get your kit cut, and it should be in the mail to you right around the 25th of September. So that's what's going on with that, and I'll show you these cards here in just a second. The other thing that I want to point out before I come back to you and show you my workstation is the Create Happiness Club. The Create Happiness Club is a subscription club that I do. I do it every other month, so I only do it 6 times a year. All of that information is here, and I want to show you the cards for the Create Happiness Club. So all of that is out there. The enrollment period is open right now. It ends on October the 10th. Those of you that are scheduled or have subscribed to the Create Happiness Club, invoices will go out on October the 1st. So I just wanted to point out to you where it is because I want you to come back here if you're interested in this club after you see the cards and what you're getting in the kit this month. I wanted you to know where you could find all of that information. So let me do this. I'm gonna kind of try to come back. There we go. Very good. Okay, let me show you, and I'm gonna take the host code down, and I wanna show you the cards this month for the Create Happiness Club. I had so much fun creating them, but we're featuring the, let me just show you this real quick. We're featuring the Winter Treetops bundle, And like I said, I had a lot of fun creating these. Now, one thing that I can tell you about my Create Happiness Club is I put a lot more time and effort into it. It's a lot more work for you guys to create these cards, but I wanted to give you a club that had like the and then some, if you will. Here's another one that we've got. And they're not hard. They're not hard. You get a tutorial. You also get a recorded video of each of the cards and how to create the cards. So it's really simple to do, but they are just so pretty. This is obviously a fun fold card as well. And then what I wanted to share with you, that what you're going to get is you'll get all of the cardstock that you need to create the cards. You're also going to get a pack of the designer series paper. It's actually going to be a 6x12 pack, so I'll cut it in half. You'll get a 6x12 pack of the designer series paper, and then you're also going to get a package of the earth tone shimmer gems. So you're going to get these pieces. You're also going to get everything that you need to create the cards that I showed you. There's 5 cards. You'll get a tutorial, and you'll also get a playlist of each one of the cards and how the cards are made. So that subscription ends on October the 10th. So I wanted to be sure and share that with you. All right. The other thing that I want to share with you is I got some fun mail. If you've been watching me, you know that I recently retired, which is exciting, from my corporate job. Now I'm working this my April Davis Creation business full time. But I got some fun mail that I wanted to share with you because these cards are so pretty. So this is a card from Bonnie, and I'm not sure what stamp set she used. It may be an older stamp set, but just look at how simple this card is, and yet it's just so pretty. She's got the ferns that she stamped. She's got the splatters that she stamped. We've got our sentiment, and then even the note inside, she's got some fern and splatters. So Bonnie, thank you very much. I love this card. Then I also got a card and a little gift from Helen, and Helen gave me a fun fold card. She used the Mediterranean blooms cardstock, and look at this fun fold. It folds out like this, and then it opens up like this. So I just love this, and I think this fits in here like so, and then it ties. So that's fun. But in addition to that, she also gave me this little fun gift package that she created, and inside, so fun, there's this beautiful pen that she gave me as well. So Helen, thank you so much for thinking of me. Bonnie, thank you for thinking of me. I love these cards. Tonight we are featuring the Potions and Spells set. So I thought this would be fun for Halloween. And so I'm going to show you, actually we're going to do 2 weeks of Potions and Spells. There were just so many fun cards that you could do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the cards that we're making tonight, we've got a pumpkin card, just a simple pumpkin card. I'm actually going to step it up just a bit. We've also got our Double Trouble, Toil and Trouble card with the bubbles coming out. And then we've got our Black Cat and our Cauldron, and some more bubbles coming out. One of the things that I want to do to get us started is I'm going to show you one of the techniques that I used. So as you can see, I have ribbon that matches what I've stamped. And basically what I did is I just used a gingham. Right now, my gingham is the black and white. In the Stampin' Up! Catalog, you have black and vanilla gingham, and I'm just trying to find my markers that I'm going to use. So you can do the same thing with the black and the vanilla. I just wanted to use my black and white on this. But basically what you're going to do, I'm going to get my little well, I've got a wipe here. What you're going to do is you're going to take your Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to take the brush side of my Stampin' Blend. I'm going to be very careful with it because I don't want to mess up the tip of it. But basically what you're going to do is you're just going to color your ribbon. And you can do this with any ribbon. You can do it with any color. you want to do it. I just wanted mine to be Granny Apple Green. So I am basically coloring my ribbon. And the reason I'm jumping ahead and doing this is because I need the ink to dry. So I want this ink to be dry by the time I get ready to make this card. So I'm going to go ahead and do this ahead of time. But I wanted to share with you how this is done. I'm doing it on my glass mat. So in just a second, I'll go ahead and I'll clean off my glass mat. And it's all said and done, and I will be ready to use this ribbon. I'm going to be using it to tie a bow. I think that's probably enough ribbon for me to tie the bow. I've already done some other coloring. So let me go ahead and get my lid back on. And I'm going to take my ribbon snips, and I'm just going to cut this off. And now what I'll do is I'll set this aside so it has a chance to dry. We'll push it back there. Then what I'll do is I will take my little chamois that came with my glass mat, and I can just clean up my little mess. So I didn't have any issues with messing up any paper or anything. I'm just cleaning it off. All right, so we're gonna come back to that card in just a second. The first card we're gonna make is our little pumpkin card. So let me show you what is in the kit for the pumpkin card. And I'm actually, I'm gonna take myself down so that you guys can see more of what it is that I'm doing. All right, so in the kit, I have the basic beige cardstock. I love the basic beige cardstock. It's one of my favorite new colors that we've got. I've got some pumpkin pie that we're gonna be utilizing for the pumpkin itself. And then the other thing that I did, and you'll see, we're gonna see what a difference it makes. I have some basic white for my white layer. I just kind of felt like the white layer was a little plain. So what I did is I took my white layer, I ran it through this embossing folder. It's the plaid embossing folder, it's 3D. So we'll do that. And then the other thing that I did is I utilized the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. I actually utilized this throughout a number of the cards just because I liked the way the colors were working. And so basically for this one, this is my grass this time around. And what I did is I just cut a strip, and then I took my snips, and I'm gonna pull out my regular snips. I'm not gonna do it now because I've already done all this, so you guys didn't have to watch me. But I just sat and cut all my little strips. So now I have my grass, okay? So let's go ahead and work on our pumpkin because I want to show you how I did it. I used the Modern Oval Punch, and basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna punch 3 of the Modern Ovals. So here's 1, and then we'll do 2. And then let me turn it this way and get my 3rd one in here. And now we got 3, okay? So I've got those. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring out my pumpkin pie ink, get this stuff out of the way. And what I wanna do is I just wanna ink the edges to give a little bit of dimension to my pumpkins. And I'm looking to see here, I've got my daubers. So I'm gonna look for my pumpkin pie, a pumpkin pie dauber. There it is, my pumpkin pie dauber. So I put little labels on each of my daubers, and that way I'm always using the same color and I know which one they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. You could use a darker ink if you wanted to. You might want to consider utilizing, for example, a brown ink, but I just want to give a little bit of dimension. So when I build this pumpkin, it just doesn't look too flat. So I'm going to go ahead and ink these edges very quickly. The daubers make it so easy to do that. And you can see all I'm doing is flicking along the edge of this. And you can do this on, you know, anything that you want, that you feel like you just need a little bit more dimension, and you can see how that adds some dimension to it. So let me go ahead and get these done up as well. I'm using 3 pieces. It is kind of, you know, you're so used to doing things a certain way, you know, as far as my Thursday night lives, that it is kind of interesting when you are recording off your schedule. And what's even more interesting for me is that never in my wildest dreams, or at least until I retired, would I be recording on a Wednesday afternoon. So I'm really excited about the flexibility that being retired from my corporate job is providing me. I've got lots and lots of plans for my channel and for my business going forward. So stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff that will be going on. And I've been utilizing this sponge, this dauber, for quite some time, so it's getting a little bit old, and you can see how it's kind of starting to wear away. So it's probably getting close for me to have to replace it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my little chamois again, and I'm just gonna clean all those up and dump them into my bin. But they've got color on them too, so I don't want to get color on my card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my chamois in my bin for the moment, and then I'll clean that up after class. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's talk about building out this card. Oh, this is my little pumpkin stem. So we've got that. I didn't bring that out. And then I also have a piece of just basic white cardstock that I'm actually going to stamp the sentiment on. So we're just gonna say Happy Halloween. I'm going to stamp it in Old Olive, and because I am using photopolymer stamps, I'm going to bring my mat in. I've got some scrap paper that I can just put over it, but I'm gonna bring my mat in so that I have a little bit of cushion for this. And I'll just stamp off on this. Yep, it looks good. So let me go ahead and get this lined up. I don't want to get my head in the way, but apologies if that's what happens. I'm just trying to make sure I get this lined up correctly. Let's see. Let's go here. Okay, that looks good. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to get my stamp cleaned off before we move on. So I'll bring out my Simply Chamois, get that cleaned off. And now what we'll do is we'll start to build this card, okay? So I'm gonna bring this in, and my card base is going to be the basic beige. Now I'm going to take my embossed plaid white layer, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put it down. So let me go ahead and get my glue down on this. Lots of crevices in this. Let me turn this over. All right, let's get this lined up. When you emboss, you've got highs and lows, and so you want to make sure that you've got plenty enough glue, and glue is my choice of preference for adhesive, but you want to make sure you have plenty so that everything adheres. Okay, so we've got that down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my pumpkins. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these two, probably overlap them just a little bit. I don't want my pumpkin to be like crazy wide, but you can see how I'm gonna build this pumpkin. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of glue and I'm gonna put it over this edge. And then we'll bring it in. And I don't necessarily need the grid lines, but this way I can get it straight. Excuse me. All right, so I think, let me look at this. I feel like it's off just a little bit. Off in the sense that one side's a little bit longer than the other side. So I'm gonna do this again so that they're pretty even down at the bottom. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'm gonna put this last one right over the top and center it in between those. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and then we'll get that even down there as well. Pretty easy to put these pumpkins together. They're a lot of fun. And I feel like I've got a nice big fat pumpkin. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the back side of the pumpkin. And that's where I'm gonna take my stem. And I just cut this stem out of some green glitter paper. So I think I'm gonna do it this way. So let me see if I can get that. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna hold that for just a second. The glitter is a little bit harder to adhere just because there's a lot of glitter pieces to it. So I'm just gonna hold this for just a second. In fact, what I might do is put it down on my tray just so that it has a chance to adhere without my finger sticking to it. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna take my grass and I'm going to adhere it down. Now I'm not gonna adhere it all the way down because I wanna be able to tuck my pumpkin behind. So I'm just gonna take my glue and I'm gonna run it along the bottom edge. So get that down. Again, I'm adhering it to all of this embossed layers. So I wanna make sure I've got plenty enough glue for it to adhere. So we'll get that down. And let me see how my pumpkin's doing. Yep, it looks good. So now I'm just gonna take my pumpkin and I'm gonna tuck it in underneath this grass. I've got all my little strips. We can pop some of them out as well. But I'm gonna tuck it in probably maybe right about there. So let's go ahead and let's give this some more glue. All right. And I'm gonna use my little tag just to kind of help me pull these up. And then move this over, probably maybe right about, I don't know, here or so. Looks good to me. So I'm trying to make sure I've got it even. Give my grass a little bit of flow, dimension. I'm just gonna kind of pull it out and fluff it up just a little bit. It doesn't have to be crazy, but I just I want you to know that it's grass that the pumpkin is sitting in. So we're gonna do that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Happy Halloween and I can place it here. And I think what I'll do is I'll put some little mini dimensionals behind it. So let me grab my little minis. Let me see, these might work, the regular size. Let me just see how big this is. I think this label's a little bit bigger than the last one that I did. Yeah, this works fine. So let me see. What I'm thinking about is the rise and fall, if that makes any sense, of my banner. So this end of the banner is going up on my pumpkin, which is going to make things a little bit higher. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting too much dimension on it, but I think we're actually good. I laid it up there and it didn't look like it was gonna make that much of a difference. So let me take this off and we'll go ahead and get our banner down. All right, and I'm gonna stick it right about here, I think. Okay, and then we're gonna take our ribbon. I already tied a bow there, and so I'm gonna put it off to the side. I'm gonna take my ribbon snips and I'm just gonna angle these ends just a little bit more. I like an angled end, so, and that one's not quite even. So I'm gonna do it again. Did I do too much? Let's do this one again. All right, that works. For me, I'm gonna bring in some glue dots and we're gonna adhere this bow with some glue dots. So find my glue dots. I'm gonna just use my take your pick. Here's one right here. Take your pick, I'll place it right over here on my pumpkin. It's very sticky. And then I can put my ribbon right about there. So now I've got my little bow for my pumpkin. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna show you a fun little trick as well. I have some iridescent foil gems. And I'm going to actually color my gems. These gems can be colored with your alcohol markers, your Stampin' Blends. So I'm just going to take my brush tip again, and I'm going to do a little coloring on this one, and then I'm going to do a little coloring on this one. So I'm just going to make them green, and then the third one I use will be just the regular. So I'm looking for my, oh, it's right here. Looking for my taker pick. So I'm going to give it a chance to dry for just a second. So I'm going to put one here, and then I will take this one and I'm going to put it here. And I'm actually going to use my tweezers to just help me out a little bit, just because I want to make sure that that's dry and I don't want to get my fingers in it. So I'm going to put another one right here and get it off my taker pick. Okay, very good. So let me move these out of the way, and we have card number 1 completed. Look how pretty that is. How fun is that? And it just kind of, I don't know, I like the grass and the variegated, but look at the difference. The difference between having just a plain background. If you like that, that's great. I wanted to step it up one step, and I did it by just doing some embossing. And you can pick whatever you choose to emboss with. So card number 1, let me move that out of the way, and I'm going to bring card number 2 in. Card number 2 is going to be Double Toil and Trouble card. So let me bring that kit out. And that kit is going to, I've got a basic white cardstock. I've already got it folded in half. I'm going to be stamping on this layer of cardstock. Then I have a piece of that designer series paper that I was sharing with you from Thoughtful Journey. We're going to cut our books out of that. I've got some of the green. I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it. This is the Glimmer Specialty paper. It's Berry Burst, Old Olive, and White. So I've just got a piece of the Old Olive. So let me move this out of the way. So I've got that. And then I've also got a piece of basic white that has been cut with, obviously, my favorite dies, the Stylish Shape dies. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mat that, but I'm going to show you a little bit of trick there too as well. And then the last thing I have in here is I have my little potion bottles, if you will. I've got one cut out of the designer series paper, and then I've got one cut out of the Berry Burst shimmer paper. So when you're using your specialty papers, especially like your glimmer papers and such, that's a lot of paper that potentially could be wasted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my punch, my modern oval punch, and I'm going to put my paper in, and I'm going to try to center this up as best I can, and I'm going to punch right out of the middle of it. All right, I punched right out of the middle of it. Now I can use this piece for something else. And, you know, maybe I want to make a potion bottle out of it. I can use it for something else. So I'm going to put it off the side so that I don't waste that. But look what happens. I can take my square and I can still border my glimmer paper with my square, and nobody's going to know that I took the center out. So if, you know, the glimmer paper, it's a specialty paper. There's not much of it. And so if you want to save it, cut out the middles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue down here along the edges. I know that part of it will be showing through. So I'm just going to go ahead and get some glue down. And again, with the glimmer paper as well, you have to use a little bit of extra glue because you've got all these like little glimmers that it makes it harder to glue things to. All right, so let's go ahead and get that centered up the way that you wanted to get it centered up too. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a block and I'm going to put it on top of that. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing some stamping. I'll bring this. Oh, you know what I should have done? Oh, my bad. I should have stamped on this before I put it down. I just wasn't thinking. Sometimes that happens. But I am going to do some stamping with the books. And so I think, yes, I did bring those out. I'm going to use my Memento Black ink. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to bring out my mat. so that I can do this. Yeah, I just wasn't thinking. I was so excited about the glitter and showing you how to do that I forgot that I was supposed to be stamping on that piece. So we're gonna see how this works out. All right, so let's go ahead, and I wanna get my books in, and I wanna find an area here, and I think I want, maybe, you know what? I did do them in blue on the old card, but let's do them in maybe a different color. What do I want to do? Yeah, I think I'm going to try this and see if this works. I kind of like, makes them look old. So let's go ahead and stamp this. Making sure I get good transfer. There we go. We've got our books. I'm going to clean off my stamp. And we're going to die cut that out, but we're not going to do it just yet. I'm going to put this off to the side, and we are going to attempt to not do anything wrong with my double toil and trouble stamp. So let me go ahead and get it inked up at least. My little potion bottles are going to go here, and my books are going to go here. So my double toil and trouble is going to go. There we go. Just want to make sure I get a good coating of it. It's going to go right about here. Okay, so I'm going to keep those there, and I'm just going to, let's see, probably right about here. Again, my recommendation would be you stamp before you glue it to your glitter paper, but if you're really careful, it will work. All right, so we've got that. So let's go ahead and let's get our books cut out. So in the stamp set, I also keep my dies. Let's close this up so we don't get anything into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the dies for my books, and I'm going to pull that out. And what we can do is we will use the mini cut and emboss. This is a little die, so we can use the mini cut and emboss. I don't want to lose my potion bottles. I've got my mint tape, so we'll go ahead and tape this down. I'm going to line this up. Make sure I get good line up with it. And I'm going to put it down on this side, and then I'll bring this in. Okay, so we got our plates down. I'm going to go ahead and run this through. I like using designer series paper to stamp on because it just gives things that you stamp on just a different look. To me, this makes it look like they're just old books. They've been sitting around a long time. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I could have used any of the colors that I had, but I just thought that maybe it's kind of the wild wheat and the old olive. I'm going to put my die over here so I don't lose it. And let's go ahead and build this up. So we're going to go ahead and put our books down, and we'll get this done. So we're just going to build out this piece for now. So Spells and Potions is going down right here. Those books. And then we're going to put down our potion bottles. And this potion bottle is going to get glued down. And you can see I also die cut it out of designer series paper. So I'm going to go ahead and get this down. Okay. And then my other potion bottle, I'm going to put a dimensional behind. So let me bring my dimensionals in. Whoops. There we go. Take this off, and we're going to pop it up. And I'm going to put it right about here. Turn it so that it's not angled wrong. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna set this aside. This piece is done. Now what I want to do is I want to bring back in this piece of white cardstock. And what we're going to do with this piece of white cardstock is we're going to actually stamp some bubbles on it. So I've got my old olive here. We're going to start with the old olive. And I'm going to bring my stamp pad back in. And I've aligned my bubbles differently this time, so we're going to see how this works. But I'm going to go ahead and just start doing bubbles. And we'll do some bubbles up here. And we can kind of mix and match them. We've got some here and some right here. I don't have to go too far in because this piece is going to cover that up. Okay, so I just have to decide if I need another bubble. And I like these up here. I just feel like I need a bubble here and I need a bubble here. So what I'm going to do, since these are 3 separate bubbles, just to work for what I'm looking for, I've got a little bitty block that I'm going to bring in. I'm going to pull off the smallest of my 3 bubbles and I'm going to put that here. And then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to do another bubble. We're going to do one here and I'm going to do one right here. Okay. Happy with that. Now I'm going to bring in, you know, when bubbles pop, there's kind of like this little sparkle. I don't know how to explain it. I call it a sparkle. It's just when the bubbles pop. So bubbles are popping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the sparkles, if you will, for the pop. And I'm going to do those in Berry Burst. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do 1 and 2 generations. So what I mean by that is I'm going to stamp this and then I'm going to stamp off. So it's going to be light and it's going to be dark, or excuse me, dark and then light. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp maybe this here and then we'll do one here. And then we'll do one here and then we'll do one here. And I also I've got 2 different ones. So I'm looking to see if I want to add any additional ones of these. I think I'm going to take one more dark here and I'm going to put it up here and I'm just going to stamp off the paper. That's always a lot of fun to be able to stamp off the paper. And then I think I'm done with this particular one. I don't want to get carried away. I don't want all my bubbles popping at the same time. So now I'm going to take the smaller one and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a little one. Let me see, maybe one here and one here. Okay. And then I'll do one here and one, maybe I'm going to try and go here. Okay, and let me see, do I want any more? I think I want one here, and then I'm going to come up here and do this one. Okay, all right, that works for me. The only thing that I did is, I don't know if you noticed, and I'm just sharing this with you. I could have just pretended like I didn't see it, but you got to be careful when you're inking up your stamps. You don't want to rock them in your stamps. You don't want to sink them in too deep because it will get on the outer edge, and you can see here that I did an outer edge there. I will share with you how I'm going to attempt to fix that though. So I'm going to call it out. I'm going to own it, and we're going to see what we can do to fix it because it happens to all of us, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and close this up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the green ribbon that I had. Let me see if I can find it. I've got this green ribbon that I had already done. And so I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it around my piece. And it's actually a fairly long piece. Basically what you can do, let me see if I have any of that over here. I don't. So I'm going to use my, just my tape, and I'm just going to wrap this around and get it centered up. You could also use your seal tape if you wanted to. I've got extra here, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. But this is just your regular gift wrap tape. It's going to hold it in place for me, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and get this wrapped. Make sure it's even. I don't really need this much ribbon, but since I'm going to be making my bow, I'm going to go ahead and just go with it. Because the rest of it's not going to actually be enough to do anything with. So now I'm going to take my double Toil and Trouble, and I'm going to put it on dimensionals, and I'm going to center it over my tape and my ribbon, or over my card, I should say. Center it in my card over the ribbon. So I'm going to take my dimensionals and place them here. I need you guys to be able to see. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put one in the middle too. I think that's enough. I think, and so let's go ahead and get this taken off. All right, I am gonna do what you've seen me do before. Is I am just not the best at getting things centered up the way that they need to be centered up. So I have like my little cheat that puts glue. I put glue on the back of my dimensionals so that I can kind of wiggle this around a little bit. It has nothing to do with how sticky the dimensionals are. The dimensionals are really sticky. It has to do with April and being able to move things around if she gets it down and it's not where she wants it to be. All right, so I think actually I did a pretty good job at that. So now we've got this down. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this to our card base. And I actually put this on dimensionals as well. So I popped it up one more time. We're gonna use a few more dimensionals this time because this is a much bigger piece of paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these down first. And I can already, I've already got dimensionals down, so it's a little wobbly on the front side, but we won't have any problems with that. And then I'm gonna take one and put them in the middle. Okay, and that's gonna be fine. So let's go ahead and move this away. And I'm going to, now one thing I thought about doing and I didn't do it, but I want you guys to think about it, is remember I was talking about the plain cardstock. So this is obviously, plain cardstock that I've stamped on. It looks fine, but imagine what it might look like if you use like the Basics 3D embossing folder that has bubbles on it and embossed it after you did the stamping. You'd have to do the stamping first, but after you did the stamping, embossed it and had bubbles all over the place. I didn't do it, but I certainly thought about it. All right, same thing here. I'm going to put glue behind here. And I don't know, if I make this card again, I might just try that just to see what it would look like. I like the way that it looks now, but it's always kind of fun to just take it one step further. All right, so let's go ahead and get this adhered the way that it needs to be. I'm gonna pick it up so that I can see if I've got it even all the way around. When you're working white on white, it makes it just a little bit harder to be able to see. But we've got that, so now we've got this together. I'm loving this card. All right, now what I wanna do is I wanna take this piece of ribbon. Remember, this is the one that we colored with the Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tie my bow here. So let me weave this through and get my bow tied here, and then we'll put some bling on it and this card will be done. So let me tie this up. I'm gonna tie it really tight right there. Make my bow. And it's interesting, it's like the ribbon becomes just a little bit stiffer once you've got that ink on it, but you can still manipulate it just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my bow the way that I want it, and then I'll take my ribbon snips again, and I'm just gonna clip here, and I'm going to clip, let me see, right here maybe? Yep, that looks good. All right, so I've got my bow, and the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some bling to it, and we're gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna color in a few of these. So I'm gonna take and I'm gonna color in maybe this one, this color. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And my end is really starting to fray a little bit on my brush. I've been doing this a lot. So just beware. Now probably what I will do is this will end up being the end. First of all, I don't color with this end very often, but unless I'm doing something like this, but I have to be careful now because it is showing a little bit of fraying. So it may be the brush that I use for coloring the ends going forward. But if you do it on the side, when you're coloring, that helps so that you're not fraying anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna color this one in Berry Burst. And I think the other two, I'm going to keep just the regular color. So I'm gonna fan this for just a second so that the ink dries. And we're gonna use our Take Your Pick, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get some of these adhered. So I think I'm gonna put some, I'm gonna put one here. These are bubbles. These are more bubbles. So I'm gonna put this here. I think it's dry. We'll do that there. And then I might move that. I think it's a little close. I think the other thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my tweezers on this. This looks a little, let me see. I feel like it's just a little wet still. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wipe off a little bit of it. Not bad, in fact, it's not coming off. So I guess it wasn't wet. So we'll take this one and we're gonna put it, let's put it down here, and then I'll take another one of the little ones and I'm gonna put it up here. And I think actually I wanna move my green one. Can I move my green one? I'm gonna get it under there, and I think I wanna move it up here. All right, so now we've got that. So now we have card number 2 completed. How fun is that? It really was a lot of fun. And I really didn't shake this one up too much. If I wanted to shake it up a little bit, I did use different color books, but do consider just having some fun and bringing out your embossing folders. All right, card number 2. Let me pull these off to the side, and I'm going to bring in card number 3. Card number 3 is our kitten, and the kitten is in the cauldron. And so let's look at that kit. Let me find that kit. That kit is right here. So we have a piece of black cardstock, and I also wanted to show you the way that this card works. Isn't that fun? So this piece is just a regular piece of black cardstock. This piece is actually going to be our card. And then I've got a piece of designer series paper. Isn't that pretty? That's going to go down there. And then the rest of the pieces that we've got, I've got our mat that I'm going to stamp on, and will go on top of the designer series paper. It's going to go here, and then I've got our inside that we're going to do. Then I've got our piece of gray that we're going to stamp our cat on. I've already cut the cauldron, and I actually embossed the cauldron with our cane weave embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm trying to get the, let's see. I think this is the better side. See if I can get the light on it right. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Maybe there? Can you see it there? There we go, right there. Okay, anyway, sometimes plain cardstock doesn't speak to me, so I have to pull out the embossing folder. So I use the cane weave embossing folder, and then we're also going to use the gingham ribbon. This time I'm not coloring the gingham ribbon. So there's a number of things that I need to stamp. So let me go ahead and pull this stuff off to the side that we're not stamping on so that I can get the stamping all taken care of. Oh, I also have a little tag. This tag came from the Greetings of the Seasons. The tags that come with this particular stamp set are so cool. They're all tags. How fun is that? So anyway, I'm utilizing this little tag, but look at all the various tags I have to choose from with this particular sentiment set. So that's where that came from. So what are we going to stamp first? Let's stamp the cat. And I've got the cat right here. We're going to stamp the cat in Memento ink. So let's get this done. I'm bringing back in my mat again, just for a better stamp for my preference. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cat all inked up. And I'm just going to turn it and fit them onto my piece of scrap, and you can see it definitely is a piece of scrap. I save all my scraps and utilize them all the time. So now we've got our kitten, and let's go ahead and close this up. Do I need any more black? I don't think I need any more black. I am going to clean this stamp off, and we'll go to our next. We are going to do bubbles. And let me see, this is a little hocus pocus. I need this one. I'm gonna take the cat off and we are gonna pull out, I'll show you. We're gonna pull out these bubbles. And we're gonna do these on the inside of the card. So I'm gonna turn my stamp over. Once I have that, then I can just lay my block over the top of it and pick it up. So we're gonna use the Berry Burst, and the Berry Burst is right here. So we're gonna do that. And I'm just gonna do bubbles right down at the very corner of this. Okay, I can even go off a little bit if I want to. But this will be the inside of the card. Cute. All right, and then we're gonna do some little bubble pops, if you will. And this time, well, I'm gonna do that in a minute. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I wanna use the same ink while I have it out. Let's do a little hocus pocus. That is the sentiment that we're gonna use. And I just wanna test that out. Make sure I get it inked up well. Whoops. Can you see what I've done? I'm just gonna show you. See how I was getting a little carried away. Now that's not a problem if you stamp straight up and straight down. I'm going to attempt to do this, but I just was tapping too hard, tilted it back, and it got me. I don't want to get the ink, the edges of the ink on my piece. So I'm just gonna go straight down. I'm gonna come straight up. I'm not gonna rock. And I was able to get that. Now, my hocus pocus needed to be over just a little bit more. So I'm gonna turn this over because you can, and I'm gonna try it again. And I'm gonna move this over just a little bit more so I can get a little bit more of my H. Straight up, straight down. Now I've got that. Okay, so we've got that. And I'm gonna clean this up because I was so messy with it. Berry Burst is the reds. The reds, they're just, they get around. And what I mean by that is once you have them on you, you have them on you. And you have to stop to clean things because the ink's just, the red ink especially. All right, let me see. Do I want to use this one? This is Bubble Burst. So let me look at this one. It's a little bit bigger. I'll use the green on that one, and I'll use this for the outside, where I'm putting the kitten. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stamp, and see, I did it again. I don't know what it is today about the fact that I can't just go straight up and straight down. I am tilting all the way. But I wanna show you guys the right way to be able to do this. So tap, 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 tap. Okay, so we're gonna do here, and then I'm gonna tap, 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 and I'm gonna do here, and we'll do a little bit more here. And I'll go here. And basically what we're doing is the cauldron is bubbling. And so we've got little things coming out of the cauldron. I guess maybe I want a little bit more here. Okay. Don't want to get carried away because I don't want it to not look like it's coming out of the cauldron. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our white piece again. And we are going to, for inking, for stamping, we're gonna bring in the Old Olive. I'm gonna use the smaller ones, and these are like little bubble bursts. So tap, tap, tap. We're gonna do a bubble burst here. I wanna make this straighter, a bubble burst here. See, I feel like I'm angling. Maybe a bubble burst here. I wonder if it's just me today. It's just me. It's Wednesday instead of Thursday. All right, I'm gonna turn this here. All right, I feel like I need one more. I'm gonna stamp off, and we're gonna do a little one here. One right here. All right, I'm happy with that. And now I do. Oh my goodness, I'm just a mess today. Let me see, I want another little one here. All right, that's good. I'm stopping. I am stopping. All right, let's get this cleaned off. And now I am going to emboss the pink piece of paper. I'm gonna bring it back so you guys can see. So maybe you can think the way that I'm thinking. So this cardstock is okay. It's okay, but it just looks a little plain to me. So what I want to do is I want to take it and I want to step it up just a notch. And I pulled out the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line this in here. And I've already stamped. If you're going to emboss, stamp first. I'm just going to turn here for just a second and run this through versus bringing it up on my craft table. Oh, look what I found. I found the Forever Plaid embossing folder that we used on the first card. Okay, stand by 1 second. I'm gonna run this through and then we'll see how this works. Just experimenting now. Getting this through. All right, here we go. What do you think? Let's put it together. We'll get the cauldron on it and everything, and let's see how this all comes together. Okay, so first things first, we are going to take this main layer, and this layer, can you see, I need to replace the blade on my trimmer. It didn't cut very well. And it's okay. I always have a nail file on hand. And when my blade doesn't do such a good job, I didn't get it changed before I was cutting, you can use your nail file, and I use it just for paper. I don't use it for my nails. But you can take a nail file and you can actually smooth that out. So anytime you have paper that is giving you grief because maybe your blade was dull or your cutting blade was dull, you can go ahead and use a nail file and clean that up so that you can't even tell that that happened. All right, so I'm gonna put that back, and I love this. Now what I have to decide is which end I want at the top and which end I want at the bottom. I think I want that at the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this down. The other side's really pretty too, but it just doesn't scream Halloween to me, so we won't use that side this time. All right, let's go ahead, oops, and get this down. I'm gonna bring it up so that I can scooch it around, make sure I get it lined up the way that I want. All right, I like that. Now we're gonna take this piece, I've already scored it, so I'll go ahead and fold this in half. And we'll take the bone folder and burnish the edges. Okay, get that? Okay, so this piece is going on the front. So we'll go ahead and do that. Oops. A little bit of glue there. Okay, let's get this lined up. Okay, come up a little on this one, over a little bit. All right, bring this down just a tad. Working on it. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna put it on the inside. Okay, it's a fun card to make. And what's fun about these various folds, I'm doing it for Halloween and this particular bundle, but you can pick a bundle that you've got that you enjoy, and you can do something totally different. It's like with this to-go class, I will send you the kit, but if you don't have Hocus Pocus and you're not planning on, what's it called, Hocus Pocus? Is that what's called? Oh, it's called Potions and Spells. If you don't have Potions and Spells, but you've got something similar that you'd like to utilize, and you can see how you can utilize the kit, do that. Use what you have. Now, normally what I would do with my ribbon is I would wrap it around and just tape it off. However, you're going to see that side. And so what I'm gonna do this time around is I'm gonna wrap it around this way, and I'm gonna trim some of it off because we don't need all of this. But you can see that the cauldron is going to go over it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do it basically the same way that I always do it, only this time I am taping it in front. And I'm gonna tape it in the center because the sides of this are going to show, and I don't want the sides showing. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure that I get it level. We'll bring this around. I still have more ribbon than I really need, so I'm gonna trim some of this off. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to, oops, I have glue on my fingers and the ribbon doesn't wanna come off. I'm gonna tape this down right on top of the other one. So now we've got this taped down, okay? And we'll go ahead and I'm gonna scooch this up so it's even. Okay, now what I can do, oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't die cut our cat. Okay, well, let's go ahead and put the cauldron down, and then we will die cut our cat. You can use the little one for it. So here's our cauldron. The cauldron's going to lay right basically down here over the top of that. So I'm just gonna put some dimensionals on it. So we'll do that. Whoops. Another, okay, I'm just gonna do this. Take these off. I can put these in the bin. And let's go ahead and get our cauldron down. Our cauldron's gonna go down. I'm gonna center it in the middle, and the two little feet are gonna go right here. So I'm happy with that. Okay, let's go ahead, and I'm trying to think what I wanna do now. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this centered on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the glue on the back. We'll get our cat here in just a second. We've got a few other things we need to do, but let's go ahead and get the majority of the card put together. No rhyme or reason. It's just what I feel like doing. Oh, did you hear that? My glue's starting to run out. Oh, it's a good thing it's my last card. Okay, so let's turn this around. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this centered up. And I'm gonna look to see if I'm happy with the placement. And I think I am. Okay, so let's pause for just a second, bring out the cut and emboss, the mini cut and emboss, and I need to find my cat die. My cat die is right here. So we'll go ahead and pull the cat die out, maybe. There we go. Okay, and get that lined up. Where's my tape? My tape is right here. So we'll go ahead and do this, get my cat ready to go. All right, so we've got that. And then we've got our sandwich plates. So we'll go ahead and put this through like this. Pushing down to make sure I feel like I got it lined up, that I'm happy with it. I think so. All right, let's crank this through. Move these out of the way. Then, nice, now we have our cat. Our cat looks good. We're gonna put our cat up with dimensionals too, but we're gonna put our cat so he's got 1 foot in the pot and 1 foot out of the pot. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna put dimensionals on his head. One there. And I think I can do the main part of the body right here. And I think, honestly, I don't know that I necessarily have to put dimensionals any other place. That's good. This is going in. I don't think he's going anywhere. I'm looking to see. I didn't even put any on the top there. All right, so let's go ahead and get our cat into our kettle, our cauldron. I guess maybe a cauldron is more of a Halloween type of. So we're gonna put him in there. That's so cute. And then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our ribbon here. And I'm gonna tuck this in underneath here. Let's see, tuck it. I just need to thread this through. I'm using my take your pick to kind of help me with that. It's not glued down, so I know it's gonna come. There we go. So we'll get this done. And then the other thing that we're gonna do is we're going to take, let me see, we can do a couple of things. Nope, I did do that. So we've got our little Hocus Pocus tag. Now what I can do is I can thread it through this way, okay? And then I wanna make sure I've got plenty enough ribbon. I think I probably did it the wrong way. This was probably the one that was supposed to go around the end. So I didn't leave myself much room to tie a bow. So what we're gonna do is we're going to not tie a bow. I'm actually just gonna tie this in a knot like this, and we are going to just do like little tags on each end. So we'll tag it off that way, and we will tag it off this way. There we go. So those of you that don't like to tie bows, you don't have to tie a bow. You can just tie a little knot, get your tag on there, and there we go. All right, let's put some bling on. We're gonna bring back in our colors again. I'm gonna do 3. So I'm gonna do 1 in green again. So we'll get a good granny apple green bubble that's coming out of our pot. I have a big berry burst bubble, and then we'll do a clear bubble. All right, so let's get these to dry. Get those out of the way, and we'll start to put these up. All right, so we're gonna do a clear one, maybe up here. And I can't wait to show you guys. I'm actually really, really liking this. We're gonna do the green one right down here, I think. And then I'm gonna do my, let's see, where can I put my, we'll put it right here. There we go. Okay, so let me show you guys. This one's done. How fun is that? Open it up, you've got your bubbles bursting inside the pot. But look at the difference. Can you see the difference in the background? The first card, I did not emboss the cardstock. The second one, I did emboss the cardstock. What do you think? I would love to know what your thoughts are. I like it. It just kind of adds texture to it. And it's the brick, so it kind of simulates the wall that is behind them. So this is card number 3. Let me bring them all back in so you guys can see them again. Card number 3, and then we're gonna bring in card number 2, our double toil and trouble. And then we've got our first card. We did just Happy Halloween, where again, what we did is we embossed the background. You can pick whatever you want. I picked the plaid, but I just felt like I needed something in the background versus just a plain background. So we'll be doing this particular stamp set again next week. I've got 2 additional cards that I think you're really gonna like, and I've also got a 3D project. So Potions and Spells is the name of the bundle, and I'm gonna come back just to say goodbye to you guys, I think. There we go. Thank you for joining me. Remember, this is a to-go class, so if you are interested, just go out to my website at April Davis Creations and be sure to utilize the host code. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you to do for me is just like and share. I'm working to build this business, especially now that I'm retired. So if you would like and share both on Facebook and on YouTube, that will help me. If you haven't subscribed, that's also great. So thank you so much for all your help. I love being with you guys, and I will see you guys next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.